Hi, and welcome to another special episode of our Made for YouTube series where we talk about mutual funds and try to demystify many of the ways in which mutual fund schemes function and the terms around it. So today I want to actually take the time to bust this myth that some investors may have, that a lower NAV is necessarily cheaper. Now, first of all, let's understand what is a NAV. NAV is nothing but the net asset value. So what it means is that whatever is the corpus of this scheme, suppose the corpus is 100 and there are 10 investors. So 100 divided by 10, 10 will be the NAV of the scheme. If this 100 grows to 200, so 200 divided by 10, 20 will be the NAV. If this 100 halves to 50, 50 divided by 10, 5 will be the NAV. So this is just a simplistic way to explain what is the NAV. It is nothing but whatever is the size of the scheme divided by the number of unit holders who are there in that scheme, right? Now, what happens is that a lot of people think that one scheme may be available at, say, an NAV of 50, another scheme may be available with an NAV of 100. Now, this is like comparing apples and oranges, right? Both, yes, I agree that in the NFO, both may have been launched with an NAV of 10, okay? But to at some later date to compare कि इसकी NAV कम है, उसकी ज़्यादा है, तो ये सस्ता है, that is a misconception, right? So first of all, let me explain to you how it works, okay? So first, let's pull up a chart for you where I'm going to compare schemes A and B, right? Now, in the first scheme, the NAV say is 15. In the second scheme, the NAV is 90, okay? Now, the investment amount in both, I'm going to keep it the same, which is 9,000 rupees, so that there is no confusion. Units allotted will be 9,000 divided by 15 in scheme A, which is 600. And in scheme B, it will be 9,000 divided by 90, which is 100, right? So far, you have got more units for the scheme with the lower NAV and lesser units for the scheme with the higher NAV, right? Now, if we assume that both funds see a 10% rally, okay, in terms of their performance. Now, what will be the new NAV? For scheme A, the new NAV will be 16.5. For scheme B, the new NAV will be 99, right? So, if anything, in real terms, in absolute terms, you're getting 1.5 rupees appreciation on the scheme with the lower NAV, that's scheme A, and you're getting 9 rupees appreciation on scheme B, which was 99 rupees, right, in total. So basically, in terms of percentage growth, both are equal, right? So what will be the market value? So if you compare 600, which is the units, which is written in yellow, and you multiply it by the new NAV, which is 16.5, you will get 9,900, which is the value of your investment. जो starting में 9,000 था, अब वो 9,900 है. In scheme B, again you will multiply 100, which is the number of units you were allotted in yellow, and 99 is a new price, which is written in blue. You will again get a value of 9,900. So it does not matter which scheme you had invested in. I mean, of course, scheme has to be chosen on merit, etc. But my point is that just looking at the NAV is an absolutely incorrect way to say, okay, I will gain more because I have invested in something which is cheaper. It's the same logic with stocks, right? Penny stocks don't become large cap stocks for a reason. I mean, penny stocks are penny stocks perhaps for a reason. Yes, there may be multi-baggers, that's true, but it is just looking at the price even for a stock is not the correct way to evaluate it. Likewise for mutual funds as well. Now, what does NAV indicate? So NAV, if I have a scheme which say today NAV is 50, tomorrow the NAV may be 60. So to me it denotes that my scheme has performed better, the NAV has increased, right? Alternatively, if it goes down, I can say that okay, my scheme is not performing, my NAV is falling. But to compare two different schemes or to just invest in an NFO, new fund offer, saying that 10 रुपए में मिल रहा है, why not? That is not correct, because 10 रुपए पे 10% appreciation is also not going to add significantly to your portfolio. Not to say you look at it just in absolute terms. You have to look at it in terms of the percentage growth. Now, what happens is that a lot of people who have been investing in NFOs, one common mistake is that, I mean, generally, if you ask experts, they will tell you to avoid an NFO. Why? Because it does not have a track record. It does not have any way to measure what might be the merit of their investment strategy. You must judge the scheme based on the fund manager, the track record, how that scheme has performed over the course of time, at least say 4 or 5 years. In that sense, new schemes will always be a little bit dicey, right? You must see the service standards, whether the management has been professional or not. And it is, if you see a scheme which has a higher NAV, it is very likely that the scheme has a higher NAV because they have been performing, which is how the NAV has grown, right? How else will an NAV grow? Money coming in from investors, right? So unit holders is increasing, the number of unit holders is increasing, so the base is going up. And if the numerator, which is the current value, also keeps expanding in size, is when the NAV will grow, right? So that means that that scheme is doing well. So if anything, I would urge you to reconsider the scheme with the higher NAV and investigate why the NAV is high, what helped it, can it do better in the future, can it sustain its past returns. So this was just to illustrate that don't go by NAV alone. Just to say that ye sasta hai to acha hai is not the right way to look at it. So the next time you're looking to select a fund, or even looking, if you're being advised to enter into an NFO, please do reconsider whether you really need that new scheme in your portfolio, or is there an existing scheme with a better track record. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful.